All right, everybody, good evening. The game just wrapped up about 5 minutes ago. First preseason game is in the books. Seahawks fall in the final seconds to the Steelers, 32 to 25. Obviously, we don't care so much about who wins and who loses. We're looking for positive signs and signs of things that need to be worked on, and we got quite a bit of both from this game. And there was a lot going on in this one. Obviously, there were a lot of layers to it. There were a lot of times when things looked really bad. Early in that game, things did not look like they were going our way at all. We couldn't really get much of anything positive going. As the game went on, we saw some really nice things. And by the end of this one, I think that you could spend pretty much an equal amount of time on the good and the bad from this one. So let's go ahead and break this game up into the good, the bad, and the mixed so we can get an idea of what we need to monitor going forward one way or the other. So let's start with the good. Let's go right to the good here because the this wasn't the first thing that popped out, but it is probably the thing that is going to get the most attention going forward, and that is the play of Drew Lock. Drew Lock played a good game. Drew Lock outplayed Geno Smith. I think he looked more comfortable back there. He showed off his arm a couple of times. He had two touchdown drives in the second half of this one. He seemed perfectly willing, and this is something that I'll get to when I talk about Geno. He seemed really willing to just take his check down and trust his running back, or in one or two cases, his receiver, to go make something happen after the play. So Drew Lock, that's I'm not going to say that's the biggest positive to come out of this game, but it was a positive. I thought he played well. Other than the overthrow to Cassis on the second to last drive, which he had him 3rd and 15, that would have been a game-winning throw in all likelihood. He just missed it. Um, don't like to see that. But other than that, I think he played really well. He did kind of miss on a screen pass to Derek Young, but it wasn't going to pick up a first down anyway. It was a give up play. So, not even really tripping on that one so much. But Drew Lock looked really good. That's probably the main thing to talk about for the next couple of days here because, yeah, I'll get to Geno when we talk about some of the less good things. But Geno didn't play badly. I'm not going to say Geno was bad today. He wasn't. But I did notice some things with him that I just didn't like as much that Drew Lock wasn't doing. So hopefully that carries over into the next couple preseason games, and maybe we can get that Drew Lock starting in game one after all, because he looks like he's just doing better. Other than that, the offensive line was great, and I think it was great pretty much the whole game outside of maybe that final offensive play. But the starters in particular, there was very little you could say about them that they didn't do right. Cross and Lucas played awesome. The interior of the line was getting push on run plays. The running game looked great in general, by the way. So you got to give a lot of credit to the offensive line for that one, as well as the running backs. But I think the starting unit on the offensive line was just money. I know that Curhan technically started the game, but Lucas came in, and I didn't notice Lucas do much of anything wrong. I thought he played great. There was maybe one play where Phil Haynes, I thought, might have missed a block, but I don't think it really amounted to anything terribly negative. So if you're coming away from a game and you're saying that you only noticed one really bad play by the offensive line, and it wasn't even that bad, you're feeling great. And their high level of play allowed the running game to really feast in this one. Pretty much every running back on the team showed at least some positive signs. Travis Homer might have been our best offensive player. He was great running the ball. He had a couple catches. DJ Dallas was really productive as well. Kenneth Walker, we didn't use him a ton, but I thought he was productive when he played. Even Darwin Thompson gets in there a little bit at the end, shows some speed. Now, I will say that Darwin Thompson did fail to chip block on what ended up being the play that cost us the game, where Drew Lock fumbles because he gets blindsided by a free rusher. DJ Dallas and Travis Homer, and probably Rashad Penny as well, are not letting that happen. So that goes to show you the value of having a running back that can block, that understands that. And I hope Kenneth Walker was watching that play too, because that's the kind of stuff he needs to be able to do if he's going to be able to get out there on passing downs. So I think that the running game, for the most part, was excellent. Very few negative plays. There was the one play on 3rd and 1 where we lost like 2 yards. Shouldn't have run the ball on that play anyway, by the way. There were like 18 Steelers in the box, I think. But other than that, there were very few negative plays on the ground. And if you're looking at this game as a template for what might be coming next, it at least makes you feel confident that this team is going to be able to run the ball. Now, we were playing a mostly backup-filled Pittsburgh defense, but nevertheless, we've seen this team struggle to run the ball against teams with terrible run defenses before, so to see it against anybody is good. So that's my second big positive from this game. The running game and the offensive line just in general, pass blocking and run blocking, looked really solid. Defensively, I think I'm going to have to go with the pass rush as my main key positive here. I thought we were consistently getting pressure on Pittsburgh quarterbacks. It didn't always result in a big play for the defense, but we were not allowing whoever it was, Trubisky, Pickett, and Rudolph, a lot of time to get comfortable. Even on the plays they completed, I thought we were doing a good job collapsing the pocket. We did miss a couple of plays, like Darrell Taylor, who did have a good game, by the way, just point blank missed an easy sack on Trubisky. Gave up a positive play when it should have been a big negative play. But he played well. Mafe, he missed an opportunity or two to make a play in the backfield, but he had multiple big plays in this game. He looked really good, really promising. The defensive line, I'm not going to say they played great overall, but we saw a little bit of pressure from Miles Adams, saw a little bit of pressure from Shelby Harris. So some promising things from that pass rush, I would say, that defensive front trying to get their pass rush in. So that, I think, is a big thing because, again, that area of our team is wrapped up in our young players, like Darrell Taylor, like Boye Mafe. Alton Robinson, too, by the way. Alton Robinson, I got to give him a shout-out, too. He was getting in there. So those would be my main positive takeaways from this game, and that's no small thing. The offensive line, the running game, the pass rush, these are the things that are really going to be important for this team going forward. And they are going to be a big, big indicator of whether or not this team is actually headed in the right direction. Mixed. Let's go to mixed next before we go to the bad. There were some guys who I liked some of it, I didn't like some of it. I'll start with Gino because I'm not going to say Gino was bad. You look at the numbers, he was fine. He made some plays. There were some plays where I thought he was doing a good job checking it down, finding his running back in the flat, finding the quick pass. But there were a couple where it just seems like he's not as decisive as he needs to be. The 3rd and 6, the first third down of the game, I don't know what he's doing on that play, but that wasn't what you're supposed to be doing. There were a couple plays where he scrambled. I think there was even one where he actually picked up a 3rd and short, but he didn't look confident or decisive on that play. That's something you're looking at and you're thinking he needs to get the ball out of his hands a little quicker. Bad things are going to happen if he starts scrambling around back there. That's like the stuff that Wilson used to do. Gino, that's you're not Lamar Jackson, so I'm going to call Gino's game mixed. I thought he played well. He did eventually hit a nice post route to I think it was Bo Melton, but mixed. Okay. Reserve wide receivers, because we didn't see any of the top guys tonight, right? No DK, no Lockett, no Eskridge, no Goodwin, no was there anybody else? Swain? Like none of the top guys played. And we saw some good things from the guys who did get to play, but we also saw some negative things. Bo Melton dropped a pass on 3rd down that would have been a first down in the first half. But after that, he actually did pick it up a little bit. He had 2 catches, including a long one, a screen pass, a catch and run, where he made a guy miss and then just broke into the open field. And he showed some signs of being the guy that we were hoping we were going to get when we drafted him. So Bo Melton, he did have that bad drop, but he was able to make a couple plays later. I think he had No, that was Cade Johnson. And Cade Johnson, too, had a nice play, nice catch, and he had a decent punt return as well. So if Cade Johnson can find his niche on this team by being a punt returner as well as a reserve receiver that's big. Derek Young, he dropped a pass. He blew a block on a bubble screen. I think that play was going to go for some yards in the red zone. And then Derek just blew a block that I think would have sprung him for at least a positive gain. But he came around, ended up catching a touchdown, ended up with 4 catches, leading the team. Pretty good game for him. Exciting. You can see that we're trying to find the creative ways to use him. So I'm going to say these reserve receivers, they did okay, but there were some things that you didn't like. Aaron Fuller, probably, I mean, on offense, it was whatever. He didn't do that much, but he did have that miserable attempt at a punt return that absolutely should have been a turnover. So probably never going to see him do that again. Probably never going to see him take a punt in general, honestly. But yeah, mixed there. Also mixed Noah Fant. You can see where he's going to be a good security blanket on some plays. Just easy completions from Gino to Fant on a couple occasions. But he also blew a block on I believe it was an end around. And he also had a play where he could have probably fought a little harder to stay in bounds, but he didn't. Now it's preseason. I don't mind a player deciding they're not going to put their body on the line in the preseason, especially a veteran like Fant, who's not fighting to make the team. But when the regular season starts and that opportunity comes up, I want him to get both feet down. It was a little discouraging to see him just kind of have every opportunity to fight to get his second foot down and then just kind of, okay, I'm just going to let my foot just go where it's going to go. That's about it for the mixed on the offense. Defensively, I would say getting Tariq Woolen and Kobe Bryant out there to get baptized a little bit because they both gave up touchdowns in the first half. And I think the first quarter. They both made mistakes. I think they both had some missed tackles. But that's fine. I don't really have a problem with them going out there and getting pushed around a little bit. Tariq in particular was getting picked on because it's going to be worth it down the line. So I'm not going to call that one bad, but they got pushed around a little bit, but they kept fighting. Kobe especially started making some positive plays later in the game. I got to get used to him wearing 8, by the way. I keep expecting him to wear 34 or 24 because of Bryant, but it's 8. So hopefully they learn from this, is what I'm going to say about that. I don't have any problem with a player like Kobe and Tariq just struggling in their first ever preseason game, getting beat up a little bit, but they just got to learn from it at the end of the day. Also, I would also say mixed to special teams in general. We gave up a long punt return. Would have been a touchdown. Mafe saved it. There was a field goal, a chip shot field goal that Myers hit the crossbar on, or hit the post on. He made it, but there was no reason for a kick that short to be anything other than right down the pipes. So that was not ideal. However, Dixon came back with some good punts later in the game. Dixon pinned them inside the 10 on 2 different occasions off the top of my head. I think it was just the 2, but he came back with some good punts. Cade Johnson, it wasn't a huge return, but I did notice he had a productive punt return right before a touchdown drive. And the coverage improved later on in the game as well. So I'll call special teams mixed for the time being. Not bad, not good. Got to get better. And that takes us to the negatives. And this first one, I think everyone who watched this game knows the tackling was abysmal, which makes sense. The tackling, you expect it to be kind of bad at this point because we're not doing a lot of tackling in training camp, not doing a lot of tackling in the mock game, but it was bad. We missed a lot of tackles, all levels of the defense. Mafe missed some, Taylor missed at least one. The secondary was missing tackles left and right. Like it was. I have to believe that Carroll and Clint Hurd are not going to appreciate that in the post-game locker room. I have to believe that that's something that's going to be an emphasis going forward. But again, we kind of understand that the tackling is not going to be sharp. Hard for me to point out any one player who was notably good at tackling today. Like, even Nick Ballore, who we all love to see him play linebacker out there, he had one really bad missed tackle that sprung a big play. So nobody really good there. That's the main bad thing, I think. The run defense did not look good. I mean, you can look at the numbers right here. We gave up nearly 7 yards a run, 185 yards. Uh, it's all tied into that bad tackling thing, of course. But there were also some plays where there were just massive holes to run through. There were some plays where the running back just got free. It wasn't about missed tackling. It's just about players not being in position. So there was a little bit of both going on there. And at the end of the day, you do see where this run defense is probably going to take a step back this year, right? Because Bobby Wagner, I think he needed to go. I completely supported the decision to let him go. I think that was a correct decision. But he was good in run defense, and we are going to miss him there. So expect to see some of that stuff in 2022 regular season as well, even though you would expect the tackling to pick up a little bit, because you can't be much worse than that. That's really about it for me. That's really about it in terms of like the bad. Again, it's the first preseason game. You're not going to get too upset about anything that you see. There were some play calling things that were bad, but overall, I thought the play calling was pretty good. A lot of running the ball. I'd like to see more outside zone runs, but there were a lot of plays where Gino or Locke gets the opportunity to just check it down for an easy short completion. Locke did a good job taking them, and Gino did most of the time, I'll say. Not as much as he could have, but he did a pretty good job of that. So it ended up being a fun finish. It ended up being a competitive finish, so I guess that's cool. But I guess the topic of consideration going forward for the Seahawks will be, do we do something different at quarterback now? Because Drew Lock has consistently outplayed Gino pretty much every time there's a big event, right? Now we've had a preseason game, we had the mock game, we had several days in training camp, maybe. But I, for one, am far more excited about the running game, the offensive line, which I thought played excellent, and the pass rush, which I thought was pretty consistent, especially when the starters were in. Okay, so I'm going to put this video up, and a little later tonight, I'm going to go live, and we're going to talk about it. Not 100% sure when. I'm going to try to do it around like 9:30, but we'll see. It's going to be a little later than usual. I'm probably going to do another stream tomorrow morning to catch the people who had to go to bed. So I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Go Hawks. And hope you guys enjoyed. Catch me in the stream a little later.